Luke, where are we?
I don't know. We're in some sort of basement, Jacob.
Oh no, they got us.
The government, they found us.
No. Wait,
Who's that guy?
who's that guy?
I don't know. Who am I?
Guys, today we're being joined by Joel Webb. Joel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Joel Webb.
Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, you said to introduce myself, so I did. So my name is Joel Webb, as has been categorically stated. I apparently have inspired part of this podcast, at least. So
That is true.
that's always exciting. You know, get a witness and participate in my progeny. Philosophically speaking.
Yeah.
I currently do multiple things. I'm a worship leader at a local church in our area, attending seminary on my way to becoming a pastor. I as well work at a pregnancy resource center in the area, helping love women and save babies. So we provide free services to anybody who comes in. And I'm just your average Joe kind of follower of Jesus, just doing what I feel he's telling me to do in life. So... and I'm also the husband of your music teacher at school.
That is true.
That is
Very important.
That is true. That's the most important.
That's the most important part.
All right. So
now we gotta introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
So my name's Jacob.
he's on a podcast or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
But they should know who you are, I hope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Then they don't know.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't know who we are.
Yeah.
All right. So, Joel, we're gonna head straight into a very important question. This is an age-old question, actually. They've been asking it for millennia. How many shooters did the government use when they killed JFK?
Well, the suggestion is usually anywhere from 1 to 3. Maybe upwards of 4.
Okay.
I'm going to land in the middle of that and say 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
So now, are we saying that Lee Harvey Oswald knew that he was part of this conspiracy, or was he like paid by somebody like adjacent to the conspiracy? Are we thinking like the government paid somebody to pay Oswald? You know what I'm saying? Or what do we think?
Well, as is always the modus operandi of such clandestine operations, they do things in cells that are separate from each other, so there can be no bleed through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's presumed that he probably didn't know anything about anybody else.
Okay.
So who's the 0.5 here?
That's just a statistical rounding number. Yeah.
Okay. So we aren't.
There's a chance that there's 2, or there's a chance that there's 3.
Yeah. So
I'm
we're
hedging
on
my
2.5.
bets. Yeah.
So are we saying we have Oswald in the book depository, and then we're saying we have one other on a grassy knoll? Where's that potential third going to be at?
Where's he gonna be?
In the car?
Yeah. It as far as we know, he could have been right in the car just to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no magic bullet theory.
Yeah. So we're saying no magic bullet theory?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What a shame. I was really hoping that.
But whoever the extra person was, he probably worked for the Federal Reserve.
We should probably tell.
Yeah. So in case
worked for the Federal Reserve in Minecraft.
Oh, in Minecraft.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
The FBI had 2 shooters and one guy who was just
2.5 shooters.
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so the magic bullet theory, in case you don't know, is the idea that the same bullet went through both John Connally and JFK, and then came out completely intact, which, I mean, it could do that, but it probably didn't. So that's what's the magic bullet theory. In Minecraft.
Yeah.
And then it's also a little strange because some other guy reported that he got hit by a bullet that bounced off the ground. So then it means all 3 shots had to have hit somebody, one of them bouncing, but...
that's not how bullets work.
Yeah, so...
Oh, bullets do ricochet.
Bullets do ricochet, but for all 3 bullets to be accounted for and to have hit somebody, it's pretty good aim.
Well, if he's using Full Metal Jacket, then that's likely because it can pass right through the target.
What about the Umbrella Man?
What do you think about the Umbrella Man?
What about him?
Do you think he was one of those shooters, or was he just an additional guy in another cell? Another cell.
Maybe an additional guy. You never know.
Okay, all right.
These things are murky.
You got to make sure that everybody knows when to shoot.
Yeah. Also, Joel, what do you think about the actual very close to proven evidence that somebody tampered with the bullet casings before they were photographed.
I have not heard that particular aspect of this.
So
please enlighten me.
So what this is on I believe on the official government record, it stated that it is believed that one of the high-ranking Dallas police officers touched the bullet casings, like picked them up, showed them to somebody, and then put them back where he thought they were before the forensic team got there to photograph it. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, and could just be mistake.
Yeah.
No.
Conveniently.
Conveniently.
Oh man, these fingerprints, they're all gone, guys.
Whoopsies, dust those off.
Yeah. Hey, it's all right. All right. So, speaking of conspiracy theories, Joel, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
So my favorite conspiracy theory is actually that the Got Milk campaign is a conspiracy run by the United States government for the millions of pounds of cheese that they secretly had in storage for a very
the
long
government
time.
cheese?
The government cheese.
The government cheese. That's a good one.
So that's what the moon is.
Oh,
No, not the moon.
Yeah, so they store it on the moon, right?
No, the moon is not cheese, but
they send it up
but
there.
Yeah.
The basis of all of this is that the U.S. government, in order to stabilize dairy prices, so during Prohibition, milk, cheese, ice cream became the staple.
Yes.
Especially during World War II, the United States had ice cream ships in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about exerting your authority with ice cream.
Exactly.
Man, that piece
But then in order to prop up the pricing of milk to not allow the dairy farmers, to go out of business, and government intervention in any aspect of the economy is never a good idea, free economics all the way, but in order to prop them up, the U.S. government kept buying cheese and then storing it in 55-gallon drums, and then the marketing company is basically a government nonprofit that markets the cheese.
Yeah. I think that's a good theory. I think it makes sense. I think the only problem is the government cheese is kind of terrible. Like it's very low quality.
Oh yeah, because it's literally just the American block cheese you buy in the store.
Yeah.
So do you guys remember that one Got Milk? I think it was Got Milk, where like it's the two kids and they're talking to him. I don't want to drink milk, Mister. It's like the guy in the other backyard is like, but he doesn't drink milk, and he's like carrying the wheelbarrow and he's carrying it. All of a sudden his arms pop off and he starts screaming. The kids start screaming. That messed me up as a kid.
Yeah, and exactly, it's working. Jacob now he has 5 glasses of milk with every meal.
But cheese is objectively the best thing.
It is.
Like I've made many mistakes in my life, and one of the things that has never been a mistake is putting more cheese on something.
Yeah,
okay, that's true. Now, this is very similar. It does involve the government, and it is a conspiracy that I know people who personally believe. Do you agree with this conspiracy that the government or Big Pharma has found the cure to cancer and they're just suppressing it so that they can make money?
No.
So I would say that there certainly are ways that do not involve massive amounts of very expensive chemicals and drugs to fight cancer. Like they've shown nutrition and healthy living can be actually very, very positive in treating cancer. I don't know all the specifics, but I'd say there definitely is a strong monetary incentive to keep on with current chemotherapy and other treatments. Not saying that they don't work and there's not a place for them, but there certainly is a monetary incentive for pharma not to cure those things.
Okay. Definitely a good one. Any other theories you can think of, Joel, that are something coming to mind?
So Luke and I have different opinions on the moon landing.
That is true. What's your opinion on the moon landing?
It happened.
It happened.
It happened.
See, he's the insane one.
What percentage chance do you think it is that it happened?
100.
100?
100% chance.
It went so
happened.
bad, Apollo 11. Do you know how bad it almost went?
I just about guarantee that it happened.
See, I've given it a 60% chance of likelihood. I think there's a 60% chance that it happened.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
Hey, that's more than a 50-50.
The technological advantages that have come from the Apollo missions have been massive for humanity, and they work. So, like, all modern airplanes utilize what's called a fly-by-wire system that comes from the Saturn V rockets that was developed for them.
And so
I would like to clarify my position. I'm not saying that all of what NASA did was fake. I'm just saying their actual landing on the moon was faked. I'm sure they went to the moon at some point later than when they said they did, but they just sped it up to beat the Russians.
I still think it happened when they said it happened.
because Apollo 11 went so bad. Do you know how? Because you know about what happened when they were trying to land Eagle. The computers just stopped working. They was processing too much information at one time, which was like 3 digits, but it was still
Well,
too much.
and then there's Apollo 13.
Yeah.
You know, did you know who saved Apollo 13?
Bunch of scientists.
Well, a particular mathematician who happens to also be Jack Black's mom.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
Impressive.
Yeah, and she was pregnant with him at the time when she was working on the
so
calculations.
what I'm hearing
Okay.
is Jack Black saved Tom
Basic-
Hanks.
Yes, exactly.
yes.
Jack Black saved Tom Hanks. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a movie I'd pay to see. Jack Black playing his mom saving Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even think they need to make a new movie. They literally just have Jack Black reshoot the scenes from Apollo 13.
Or they can deep fake him into the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even need him.
Yeah.
The AI, I mean, it's
AI does everything
Yeah.
now.
It's
So what are your favorite?
As far as you know, this podcast is just AI.
I mean,
so
it would make sense.
it would.
Who are they using for your voice? Where do they get the voice sample? Oh, I guess you can just voice sample your own podcast.
Yeah, you could just be like, I think it's like a few syllables you have to say. Like it's like now they have it down to like a science.
Nice.
Where I can just say like a few syllables. Like I don't know what they are.
And then they can fully replicate your
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely all the syllables because you've said
Yeah, I probably said all this.
probably hundreds of hours of things that are on the internet.
Yeah.
So, at least tens of
You got
hours.
any like favorite like movie series, TV series?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings extended Blu-ray edition trilogy. I know Jacob has not seen it yet. It is a travesty against
It is.
mankind.
It is.
So
yeah.
what I'm hearing is that next time we have Joel on, we watch the Lord of the Rings series on the podcast.
Yeah. It's
That
gonna
would be a long 12 hours, but we could do it.
Yeah, yeah. I think what we should do is just like do like hour pauses and then discuss the previous hour.
Okay.
And that way it can like you can listen to
And get into
Yeah.
the Tolkienian lore
Yeah.
and provide
Yeah.
him context.
Oh yeah,
to
I was
explain.
watching this video on how like the Lord of the Rings takes place like the like Middle Earth is also just Earth,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
we're living in like the 7th age, right?
Mhm.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not up to date on that.
There's a lot of different fantasy series that play with the concept that we are simply in a time before or a time after that it is happening.
Yeah.
Like
me.
Fallout.
And there's a reality that there's a possibility, like you think about how all of our information is stored. It's stored digitally and it's stored on paper. Well, if there's a massive cataclysmic event
It's all gone.
and all of that's uncovered, what are they going to find? Some buildings.
Yeah,
And that'll be it.
exactly. So
What have I been playing? Oh, I've been playing Starfield, and the entire idea of the game. Do you not want to say it, or do you? It's just like the world building of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Earth's dead. Earth's gone. It gone. Earth. It's like it's the magnetosphere of Earth just died, which is actual thing that could happen. It could just flip. You know you heard about that
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
If it flips, technology gone for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least like 50 years, I thought. Do you remember that? You heard about that, right? Where it flips?
no,
You know?
no.
No. Where it like it.
Wait, I get what you're saying.
Like,
Yeah.
but-
Like
yeah.
it will just flip. Like
Magnetic poles.
the
flip.
magnetic poles will just flip, and then the geosynchronous satellites go crazy because
Okay.
they can't. So it could happen, but we don't know
Yeah.
when.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thankfully, trust in a sovereign God, so we don't have to
That's
worry
true.
about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Okay. So, what's your favorite podcast episode that we've done?
Favorite podcast episode? I am pretty partial to your initial episode where you're talking about all of the conspiracies that go around Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
a
pretty
classic.
good. Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
It covers a lot of great content.
It's one of the very few that we did not record
yeah.
in person.
And your war crime one is
Okay.
pretty
Everybody
spicy-
loves the war
pretty,
crime one.
pretty spicy.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
ju-
I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's allegedly
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah.
I love how the campaign panel was called Just Cause. Well, I read Just Cause.
Yeah.
It's basically what in Minecraft. I mean, it was Just
Yeah.
Cause in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And there's a
That's
video
true.
game.
That's true.
Do you know there's a video game series? I told you about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
The Just Cause games.
Oh, yes, I've
Yeah.
played them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and jump forward. The Ship of Theseus is what we're going to be talking about next. You said something today that reminded me of it. I don't remember what it was, but it was something about. I'm sure it was something about something returning, and I don't know. You said something earlier. But the ship of Theseus. So for any of you guys who don't know, the ship of Theseus is this like logic problem in which this Greek guy, his name is Theseus, he has a warship, and it goes out to battle, right? And as things happen in battle, parts get destroyed. For instance, boards or the sail or the mast, right? And as they get destroyed, they get replaced. And so eventually, all of the parts of the ship have been replaced. So the question is the current ship, the ship that has had all the parts replaced, is that still the ship of Theseus, or is the ship of Theseus just gone? So what do you think, Joel?
Well, are you and have you always been Luke?
Yes.
Okay. So every 7 years, all of the molecules in our body have been rotated out for new molecules. Are you still Luke?
Yes.
After 7 years?
Yes.
So I would say that the essence of a thing is still the same thing, even if the original has been replaced, because the essence or the value of a thing is not in the physical aspects of it. It is in the information of the thing, the metaphysical appreciation that sentient beings have for it. So Theseus's ship would still be his ship because he built it and he replaced parts on it, but it is yet still his ship. And so the Theseus ship problem directly, I think, correlates with information theory relating to intelligent design as well, with the source of the universe. Intelligence can only be perceived by a sentient being, correct? And so, we're placing value on something. Reading the words on a piece of paper, it only has value because of the meaning we associate with it. So just in the same way, it is still Theseus's ship, because he built it and he might have changed every single bolt or every single nail and every single piece of wood and every single piece of rope, but yet it is still his ship at the end of the day.
Okay, but couldn't it also be argued that the only the statement you made at the start, like me still being me, but isn't it just part of it is that everybody acknowledges that I am myself, but wouldn't the thing there be that I am conscious that I am myself? Like the ship isn't conscious that it is the ship of Theseus, right? So wouldn't part of you're comparing a living being versus a non-living being.
But it's still a living conscious being that is placing the value on the thing.
Yeah.
And so to argue, my contention would be to argue that something is not the same thing if things have been replaced over time is a strictly materialist argument. That's basically saying that there's the only value in something is its material properties. So with that worldview in mind, yeah, it would not be Theseus's ship. But I would say the realistic worldview that all of us share, because, we can't just be strictly materialists because we live in a material and immaterial world, that it is still Theseus's ship.
Yeah, interesting. What do you think, Jacob?
I agree with Joel.
Okay, is it just because Joel made a good argument?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to think through it. I'm like, and I was just like,
all right.
So I want to ask this question. Luke and I have had this conversation before. What's your opinion on alien life?
Well, basically, it's the Nephilim. So there is a great podcast that I recently started listening to as well that will lend itself to this. It's called Haunted Cosmos. Two guys are Christians. They talk about it. But it's the idea that spiritual beings can masquerade themselves as various things. And so the one of the arguments they present in the show that I actually kind of lend myself towards thinking is that the spiritual beings that do exist that are spoken about in Scripture, demonic powers and forces and different things like that, that they're masquerading themselves in certain ways to kind of mess around with or fool with people who kind of have an evolutionistic perspective of the world. So, we can convince people that we're aliens that have evolved on another planet, when really we're spiritual principalities and powers, that are in a certain area because of things that have taken place here for whatever reason. So my contention would be is that there is, I guess to a degree, sinister spiritual dimensions to the reality of aliens. Not that they come from other planets, but that they are immaterial in a sense.
Okay, so you would have the same opinion that Michael Knoll shares.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
My opinion is I don't believe in sentient alien life. Like I get like your thing, but what about like non-sentient alien life on like other planets that God made, put there, for us to see?
Like a microbe.
Maybe like microbe, maybe full.
Like if there's like a frozen bacterium in the ice caps of Mars.
No, not like on Mars, but like interstellar, like a different system.
So like
Kepler.
space dogs in the Kepler solar system that are not humans, maybe don't hold the image of God, but are still living creatures.
Made by God, that might have been.
Well, I won't cancel out the possibility. Maybe not realistic, but I'm not going to say 100% no.
True.
I think space dogs would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
From the Kepler system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if they're space. I always like imagining like what would God make if he had like a different frame.
Yeah. Well, and this is actually an idea that C.S. Lewis plays with. So he has his space trilogy.
Yeah, his space trilogy.
Fantastic series of books if you haven't read them. They're kind of out of the normal of his writing, but he plays with this idea that what if there are other creations and other planets that didn't experience the fall like we did on Earth. And so that's kind of what he's playing with in his space trilogy series. So you can certainly explore that idea there.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I think Jacob was lending to the idea that, like, especially plant life would make sense to exist on other planets.
Potentially,
because,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we can't rule it out.
Yeah.
Like there's such fine tuning in the galaxy.
Yeah, I think it's really crazy how it's like the littlest part is when God made the cosmos, but it's this intertwining things that just intertwine into different things, and it's just like he made it in a snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So, Joel, I had a question. I didn't write it down, but what are your thoughts on like non-literal 7-day creation views?
Ooh.
I definitely think they have merit. I think that there's a place that faithful Christians to the Word of God can hold to these views. I think when we look at the style of writing in Scripture, especially in the Old Testament, there does seem to be at times places where there's more imaginative language being used rather than literal documentary explanation of what's going on. I think that both sides can be explained from the text of Scripture. So you could have someone who believes maybe in not even creationism, but like a gap, in the gap era between verse 1 and verse 2 of Genesis. I think faithful Christians can have differing views on this. Because ultimately we know that it has to be an intelligent God who designed all of it, who still decided to be intimately involved with his creation because he loves his image bearers. So there definitely are faithful Christians who I know, who I'm friends with, who hold to a more evolutionary perspective on human descent and everything, but they're still able to develop robust Orthodox Christian theology and hold to it the same way that I do. And I certainly don't hold the same fundamentalist perspective about it as I used to, but I definitely still lend myself more towards a literal understanding, for the most part, of what we would find in, say, the creation account.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, all right. Let's see. Back to reiterate, because Jacob did ask a question and then we kind of devolved off of it. But any other favorite TV shows or movies?
Oh, man, there's a lot of TV shows I love. One of my favorite miniseries that I always go back to is Band of Brothers from HBO, retelling Easy Company, World War II, 101st Airborne Division. Fantastic series of stories. Read all the books behind the TV series as well. Highly recommend that. There's just so many good... huge fan of Hogan's Heroes. Classic sitcom kind of style show, prisoner of war camp, World War II comedy. Great show. There's just so many great movies and TV shows out there, but always love to fall back on Lord of the Rings when possible.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, we really need to get Jacob to watch
caught
that.
up. Yeah.
I'm more of a Star Wars guy.
Well, we can all be fixed.
Whoa!
Actually, whoa, are you not a Star Wars guy?
No,
Joel?
I am a Star Wars
Okay,
fan.
I was like, Joel,
But to hold Star Wars over Lord of the Rings as a reason not to watch it is,
I'm not saying.
I would say it's philosophically problematic.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I think I prefer sci-fi more than fantasy.
Aren't sci-fi and fantasy essentially the same thing?
Well, it's sci-fi
setting-
/ fantasy. There's generally a lot of similar
Yeah.
themes, but we're usually dealing with two,
time period differences.
two time period differences. But that a lot of them explore a lot of the same themes.
Yeah. That's true.
Are you guys more of like you know what the difference between like light sci-fi, hard sci-fi?
I don't know. I usually tend to read more of like a lighter, but yeah. I had a good question. Oh, do you prefer C.S. Lewis or Tolkien?
Ooh.
So for fantasy writing, Tolkien. For everything else, Lewis.
Okay. All right. And another one on that.
Though I will say, Tolkien, while Tolkien did not like allegory, he was very clear about it. He did not like allegory. The Christian worldview is still deeply, deeply, deeply built into his Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the Silmarillion, you see so many themes that are actually in Scripture, so many kind of almost storylines from Scripture, even about like the fall of the deceiver, Satan.
Oh yeah, didn't they? I think there's like one of the. I'm sorry. I watched like one video on like Lord of the Rings, and then like it brought up something like as in one of the books there's like something about one will come.
Mm-hmm. So the world of Tolkien is deeply Christian, and that is my one major criticism of the Amazon show, The Rings of Power, is while they captured the physical aspect, a lot of the stuff looked really cool, and a lot of it was Tolkien eye candy, they missed the heart and the soul of Tolkien's world because there's no appreciation or even a scoffing at the worldview that Tolkien held. And so, that's not to discredit Tolkien, saying that C.S. Lewis definitely on theology, but Tolkien's world is so built in with his Christian perspective and theology as well. So
Yeah. All right. This is going in a complete direction. But do you prefer coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. You have an explanation?
I do drink a lot of tea. My wife loves tea, but she also loves coffee. I think I just prefer coffee. I have a bunch of different types of coffee beans. I like to grind, mill my coffee beans, and I have like 5 different ways of making coffee. Coffee is just a fantastic beverage. I drink it black because it's the way Jesus made it. So that's the way we're going to drink it.
Luke, are you a coffee guy?
No, and
Me neither.
And neither is Jacob. So what do you say to all those non-coffee people out here?
Well, I guess not drinking coffee is better than decaf.
Okay. He's taking a hot take right now.
Yes, that is my spicy hot take.
Why is decaf bad?
So coffee comes from the beans of the coffee plant, and decaffeinated coffee comes from the dirt around it. That's a joke. It doesn't actually. Decaffeinated coffee actually goes through a very highly chemicalized process to remove the caffeine from the beans to then make the consumption of it not provide a ton of caffeination to the body. So, yeah. Yes, there is a cat on the table.
Yeah, there's a cat on the table. I don't think you'll be able to hear said cat. You might be able to hear the bell. Yeah, we've been in case you've been wondering what that ringing is. There are several cats in here that happen to have bells. Because when you lose the cat, you need to hear it. So
You must love John Young if you watch our podcast.
yeah, remember John Young?
You remember John Young?
The man who famously bought the corned beef into space.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on his endeavor?
It's probably one of the greatest advancements of humankind that has ever been made.
Okay.
Yeah, is bringing that.
It was kind of risky.
It was actually insanely risky.
Yeah, but so is going into space.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do it, might as well make it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though if he had just died when he'd eaten that?
I don't know why, but it would have been another statistic, another point of science that we understand.
Well, I mean, because they all they were like, we don't know if you can eat in space, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
What's the one Apple TV show that came out recently? I told you about it.
Oh, it's the
For All Mankind.
Yeah.
It's a thing about if the Russians land on the moon first, and then I was watching a overview of it, and it gets crazy by the end.
So is it like a space version of The Man in the High Castle?
No, because in my opinion, I don't like The Man in the High Castle. It's really.
I really liked it.
Oh, you really liked it?
I really liked it.
I
haven't read the book though, but books.
Well, it just sounds like to me. It's like. It sounds like the main character's kind of like a Mary Sue.
Okay. Yep.
Like I love the world of it.
But Mary Sue's and whatever the male version of it are pretty annoying. Just good for good's sake and not having any development. Yeah.
All right.
That was a great meme I saw since we're talking about Star Wars earlier about Rey. You know, basically like in the flashback scene, she looks exactly the same, just smaller. And so the joke is because she didn't have any character development. Which is true.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy, you're terrible at what you do. Please go away.
Yeah. I can say a lot of things that I don't like about Kathleen Kennedy.
But we're going to carry on.
We're going to carry on.
Speaking of Star Wars, Joel, what's your favorite Star Wars film?
Can I just say the Clone Wars TV show?
Yes. See,
you make Jacob very happy when you say that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Clone Wars movie, though?
No.
Like episode 2, Attack the Clones?
No, like the movie.
Oh,
the Clone Wars.
movie, the Clone
like
Wars.
the animated one that sets up the TV show.
Chop of the Hutt,
Gotcha.
baby, no.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I watched.
One of my favorite things once the final season of the Clone Wars show came out, somebody took that plus Star Wars Episode 3 and then spliced in all of the Clone War last season bits into Star Wars Episode 3 chronologically.
Yeah.
And that was a fantastic watch. It's like 2.5, 3 hours long, but it's amazing.
Nice. Yeah, we'll watch that after we watch Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just love Star Wars. Is that a crime?
No.
I play.
Not unless you don't get your homework done.
Yeah.
No, I have this game. Do you know the game Empire at War?
Yes.
I play it with all the mods. You got Awakening of the Rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've played it, yeah.
Franz
I don't
Revenge.
own it, but I played it in the past.
Yeah.
You have a lot of mods. Franz Revenge. My favorite character.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. My favorite character, Fran.
See, a great game based on a space show or movie is... You've seen the movie Treasure Planet?
Yes.
Yeah.
At least once.
Yeah, once.
One of my favorite movies, animated films. There's a game from it that's called Treasure Planet Invasion of Procyon, and you fly this sailing spaceship through space and have like broadside fights with other
So there's an up
spaceships.
and down in space and that.
No, it's kind of 2-dimensional flat, but you're kind of like sailing around space, and it's kind of cool.
Nice.
So
Yeah. Okay. As we begin to wrap up.
Wrap up.
Yeah. Well, Joel, what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of music. I listen to a lot of Christian stuff. One of my favorite band. I love Shane and Shane. Also a huge Skillet fan.
Okay.
So if there's any
That's
other Skillet
classic.
heads out there, love it. I love listening to classical music. Love listening to like kind of like soundtrack style music as well.
Okay.
So soundtrack for movies and games, but also there's a group composing group called Two Steps from Hell, and they make like cinematic theme music that is really
I have
good.
somebody to show you because I have somebody.
I listen to a ton of different music.
Nice.
Yeah, I love music.
Nice.
Always have music or a podcast going usually.
All right. Yeah.
I like Frank Sinatra.
He does.
Yeah, well, you had it your way. So
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. That's funny. Speaking of that, do you know that there was I think it was in the 80s, there was a Frank Sinatra cover McDonald's
okay.
commercial, and it involved this talking moon, and he was singing, and it was called Mac Tonight, and I believe it was a Frank Sinatra song. Maybe it was another 50 style song.
Wait, so they had a.
It was a talking person with a moon shaped, like a crescent moon shaped head, and evidently it tripled the sales of the Big Mac.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I was expecting if it was actually Frank Sinatra, I'd be like.
It was not actually Frank Sinatra.
No. Like if it was the actual song and they had a moon on it, they didn't do "Fly Me to the Moon."
That would have been
Yeah.
good. Yeah. All right. As we begin to wrap up, Jacob, do you have any final words for this episode?
Keep on conspiring.
Conspiring.
Yeah. Also, we're trapped in this basement. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should probably bring it back to the
We're
gym.
not in a basement.
we're in a basement.
Joel is opposed to lying for the bit.
No, we're
for
acting.
the bit. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
acting.
Yeah, it's like acting. You know, I once said that to an actor.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you just kind of lie, and he goes, yeah.
What actor did you say that to?
I'll tell you some other time. He wasn't famous. All right, so, thank you for.
Yeah. Well, if I had any final words for
yeah.
anybody who's listening, repent and believe the gospel of Jesus Christ, for he is the King. So fall on your knees and worship, and live faithfully to build his kingdom on earth.
Okay. Where can we hear more of you?
So you can search for the Pastor's Call podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where you listen to podcasts. I weekly talk to ministers of the gospel to hear their stories and journeys of following God's call on their life. And you can also find me by meeting me in person, because I'm not giving you out my social media information on this show.
Nice. Okay. Would you like to do the Patreon ad read?
Go ahead. I'll leave it to you.
Okay.
Right.
So you can find us additionally over at patreon.com/the Conspiracy Consultants. We'd like to say thank you to our patrons. Well, let's not start with him. Josiah Keller, JJ Sebastian, and Sam Shockman, and most importantly, Joel Webb. You were actually following that pretty well, you have to admit, right? He was pretty
right,
good, yeah. So yeah, we were not super intentionally trying to make one of our Patreon supporters on the show. Like, he did that kind of after we were hoping to originally have him on the show, but he did it, and so it makes it cool. So yeah, thanks for supporting the show. So, all right.
Patreon members, don't get too excited.
Got to spend my money on valuable things.
Yeah, exactly. It's only $1 a month, guys. So, all right. See ya.